Howdy ho, you garlic scented bitch.
I still got like, why is it capturing that?
What are you talking about?
I talk about my my screen capture.
No, not the screen capture.
The moon is watching us.
Oh god.
Okay, we cool. We cool.
You're cool. I'm doing the audio test, so keep talking.
All right, baby. What should I look up for the starting image? Wood Elven. Did I spell that right? Wood Elven Palace.
Okay, I think we're actually all good for audio.
Yeah, baby.
And then Mercedes can let me know if like I'm insanely loud and you're like really quiet, or we'll just see. You know, it's always a fun guessing game with the audio because we can never seem to get it right.
Now, you know me, and you know that
I don't know shit about you.
You know me, all right. You know me, and you know that I would never want to be a king of any sort.
Okay. This is factual, yes.
But if I were to have any kind of throne room, it would look like this.
Okay. You can't just say you look like this. I gotta fucking pull up your stream. Hold on.
I'll put it in the thing. Hold up.
Check Ooh, very. You know what? It ties into the upcoming short that's out. Very druidy.
Very druidy.
Very druid. I'm druiding these balls across your face.
You're druiding what?
She says Nick is still. She says Nick is still quiet. How is he still quiet? Well, more quiet than you. Nick, put the mic in your mouth.
How's this?
Oh my god. Actually,
loud?
It's loud for me, but it might be good for them.
Should I like put my mouth on it like Elvis?
Oh no, don't do that. He's dead.
Yep. Okay, and I will die the same way.
You're gonna die with a heart attack because you pushed too hard?
If I would die it for any reason, it would be that.
You know what? I feel like I would the same way. Oh my god. Okay, okay, we gotta start. Hey everybody, welcome back. This is episode 5. We're officially starting the last half of.
Were you 5?
Yes, Nick. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Remember, we did this last time. But we are. I'm gonna hit you virtually.
Quick mouths.
What?
Quick, you never heard of that song?
Shut up.
Quick 2 + 2 is 4.
Oh,
minus
God.
1. That's 3 quick mouths. Everyone.
We're on episode 5. And I can't hear you laughing now if you have the noise canceling on.
Oh, I'm laughing quiet.
Oh, thank God. Okay, so once again, we are on episode 5 of Barely Literate. I'm just clicking the pencil like that one enemy in James Bond. He's putting a gun to his. Okay. The noise canceling cancels out the laugh. God damn it, Nick.
Okay, we're gonna turn that off. We're gonna turn that off right now. I think that was the main issue. I put it on standard in the first place, and I forgot.
Oh, you just got so much quieter.
Yeah, huh?
You got a lot quieter, but let me see if I can fuck with it a little bit.
I did?
Shut up. Okay. Just keep the mic near your mouth. Anywho, today we're going to be talking about chapters 9 and 10 of The Hobbit. We are officially in the last half of the book. It's weird. It is weird.
It is. I finished chapter 10 and I looked at the thickness of the first half and the second half, and I was like, damn, we're almost done. This is gonna be the first time I finished a book in years.
Me too.
Like physically at least.
And you know what's crazy is that we're gonna have to do an episode where it's 3 chapters because there's 19 in the book, right?
That's true. That's gonna be like a long episode then.
So that God, you know what that means? 2, 4, 6. There's 4 episodes of The Hobbit left for us.
4 more weeks?
Yeah, because 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Welcome to another episode of Math with Macho and Chris. Today we're learning how to add for the first time in 25 years.
You know what's
And
crazy?
let
I
me
still
tell you
count with
guys,
my fingers.
me too. It's hard. Math is hard. This is why I dropped out of community college. Not because I played a lot of Uno in the student lounge.
Wait, you what?
I played a ton of Uno in the student lounge, skipping class.
So no like video games or D&D or like going to
Straight up
parties.
Uno, and I was kicking ass, dude. We had a whole Google Doc full of those blank cards.
Yeah.
We had a whole Google Doc of stuff we could do with those blank
Oh
cards.
no.
And I had one called the Infinity Gauntlet where I can get rid of half my hand.
That's funny.
Yeah, I won so much with that one.
Anywho,
But it's like not broken. I'm sorry.
It's fucking getting off on a tangent on goddamn Uno. We're talking about the Hobbit. We're supposed to be in Middle Earth, Mirkwood, being mischievous and whimsical little hobbits, and you're over here be like, hey, drop 4, fucker.
Well, I got excited because I was like, well, if you think about it, it's a very balanced kind of rule.
You good there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm cool.
Okay. Okay. Before we start, what is your topic of discussion before you get into the summary of chapter 9?
You want me to read it off now?
No, the topic beforehand. Don't you usually have something fun to pull out of your pocket that's not phallic?
Oh yeah. Okay. So movies we watched this week.
Okay.
Right. So I watched that new Netflix original with Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz, Back in Action.
Yeah, how did that one go for you?
The story is just like, any kind of regular action family comedy kind of story, but I will say I had a good laugh. I had a good hearty chuckle in this
Okay.
movie. It was a fun watch overall. Not like a terrible kind of like I could definitely watch this again if I'm trying to just chill out. I'm home alone. I got nothing else to do. I already beat off 4 times. Might as well.
Oh my god. Oh jeez.
It was a fun watch. I liked it.
Okay.
I'll give it for a comedy like family type movie. I'll give it a solid 7.
A 7 out of 10?
That's for like family. Like I'm not talking like full on
Overall.
cinema. I'm talking like like just a nice family movie to watch.
By the
I'll
way,
give it a
CJ,
7.
nice to see you. Thank you for stopping by. It's like what? 5 plus 9? What is that in time? Isn't that like 3 a.m. over there by you? You British people.
Brits.
You Brits. It's 2 a.m.
Oi,
I was
governor.
close. Okay. For me, I watched one movie this week. Sausage Party.
Surprise. Really?
I was hanging out with my friend. She doesn't like any scary movies. Her favorite is just to watch raunchy. So we spent like 40 minutes just scrolling through all of the streaming sites. And then we just come across Sausage Party. I was like, oh, that's funny. Cool. And she's like, let's watch it. And in my head, in person, I'm like, yeah, let's totally watch it. In my head, I'm like, really? So,
Sausage Party?
well, like I've seen it all. I've seen it. No, they made a show. And so we're watching it. And then I look on the thing. And I'm about to just blow time out of the water for you. Nick, Sausage Party came out in 2016.
That checks out.
It's been
I watched
almost a decade.
Oh. Yeah, I watched it my senior year for the first time. No.
Junior.
Probably would have been my junior year because I was at a party. I just remembered that the pita bread guy from Sausage Party kind of looks like Serge Tankian, the lead singer of my favorite band.
Serge, that's such a band name, Serge Tankian.
Yeah, I mean,
oh my god. Let me see the. Yeah.
Like dead on, dude.
That is really accurate. Oh my god. Okay, moving on. We're gonna get started. If Nick can pull himself together, he's taking the lead and reading the summary of chapter 9. So Nick, when you are ready, I think you can go for it.
Lost in Mirkwood, the dwarves are imprisoned by wood elves. Bilbo, invisible thanks to the ring, escapes capture and follows them to the Elvenking's palace. I ran out of breath there. He spends weeks inside, eventually locating Thorin and the others in their cells. Thorin, increasingly respectful of Bilbo, sends a message via him to the other dwarves, reveal nothing of their quest. Discovering the palace's wine barrel delivery system via an underground stream, Bilbo steals the guard's keys, releases the stop miming. Bilbo steals the guard's keys, releases the dwarves, and proposes a daring escape. Hiding in empty barrels, they'll okay. They'll be floated down the stream to Lake Town. Despite their reservations, they agree. Bilbo packs stop it. Bilbo packs them into barrels, and they're sent hurtling down the stream. Bilbo clings to a barrel, and they all eventually reach the river, where the barrels are formed into a raft for the final leg of their journey to Lake Town.
I was testing you, and you failed.
I failed so hard, dude.
Bro, that was like the most monotone. Like the teacher just asked you to stand up in the class and read the chapter. Like, all right, it's popcorn reading. Mr. Nick, time for you to read. Can I read that?
I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of how I read the chapter in general. I was like, not a lot of excitement. It was a very, very kind of like, not relaxed. It was stressful.
I felt like the total 2 chapters of 9 and 10 were very, because we just came from very exciting action-packed chapters, and now once again it's kind of like filler space, because we're gonna get to the chapter 10, the end of chapter 10 a little bit later, and you're gonna see why it's a bunch of filler space. But yeah, not a whole bunch really happened. It was more of just kind of like getting themselves together again.
I would say like it did feel like, because I mean it's a book, so
true.
What is exposition really? But like it did feel like exposition city. You know what I mean?
I can kind of see where you're coming with that.
Weird. When I was reading it, I was like, this is a lot of like detail he's adding, like descriptions he's adding into this chapter. But like when they're like traveling, he skips a lot of time when they're traveling.
I think
like they say that he spends. Oh, go for it.
No, and actually you're about to say something that I noted, but I think it's because when they're going to places of interest, you really have to, I'm not saying this because I know how to write. I don't. I'm just saying, like, if you're going to spend a significant amount of time there or a chapter, you got to give something for the reader to kind of grasp hold of and envision. So when they're traveling, right, you know, if you're going to be in Mirkwood Forest for like the 2 chapters that we were in, you describe it once and just keep saying that you're in Mirkwood.
Right. So like I don't know, because it was just like it was kind of hard to visualize the actual palace itself, because it's kind of it's not being very descriptive of the surroundings. It's just being descriptive of what Bilbo's doing and thinking, you know, and the story itself. But what I thought was pretty funny was in the beginning of chapter 9, the questions finally answered that we've had for most of the book of what the dwarves have in terms of weaponry, and they only have small knives.
They don't have anything. And
no, they had.
No, is that because like they got their shit taken from them, or they just never packed anything?
I don't think they even packed axes, dude. Like they just had small knives, and then the bows that Bjorn gave them, which they wasted all their arrows on. So when they got captured by the elves, even though they were like famished, they still didn't stand a chance. They all had bows like pointed at them, and they could do nothing about it.
I don't understand why you're going to go on an adventure. First off, adventure period. Why you're going to go on an adventure and not have something to defend yourself. But think about the nature of what they're doing right now. They're going to go on a journey to reclaim their home, And the only way they can do that is by killing a fucking dragon. Why do you not have weaponry?
I drive 45 minutes to work, and I still have a battle axe in the back of my car. I never leave home without it.
But
you
like,
never know when.
Like the dwarf in you is like, I am prepared. There's going to be a dragon on the toll booth.
Dude, as soon as I get into battle, a fucking full beard's gonna finally grow out. And I'm like, yeah, let's go.
A full beard. No, dude, the beard is gonna gain 2 feet and it's gonna pull your height. So it's like coming out of your legs, and then you're just gonna shrink like un pelo loco.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's gonna be bulletproof too. It's gonna be that thick.
It's gonna be a thick. Have you heard? We're totally getting off topic, but have you heard there was a woman who was shot in the head and she survived because her weave was so thick that it stopped the bullet?
I heard about that. Another like little family lore for me is my great grandpa tried to shoot himself after murdering his wife.
Why are you bringing this up? My God!
Because you mentioned shot in the head, and I got a funny story about it.
Jesus!
So he tried to shoot himself in the head with it, but with a rusty revolver, and it was not successful.
Why did you have to explicitly say rusty revolver?
Because it didn't work, so I had to explain why it didn't work.
I feel so bad.
He went to prison with a headache. That's it.
Oh my God. I'm sorry, Nick's grandpa.
No, don't be sorry for him. He murdered.
Oh, wait, that's true.
He murdered my great grandma.
Oh, fuck that. Yeah, fuck that guy. Anywho, so we're but no, for real though, that's so dumb. I find that very stupid that your whole point of the journey is to go kill a dragon, and you do not you're prepared with food and provisions, but not the ability to accomplish what you're going to do.
I don't think they were like planning on actually fighting Smog. I think because they got Bilbo. Because they got Bilbo to be a burglar, they were expecting to do kind of like a stealth mission to go in there. But even if you're doing a stealth mission, you bring weapons with you. And, you know, I'm just very disappointed about how unprepared they were for this journey.
I'm going to 100% respectfully disagree with you there.
Yeah? All right, let me see.
Because the whole point of them going back to the Lonely Mountain is because Thorin is the blood right. It's his not blood right. It's his birthright to be the king of like the dwarven city there. How are you going to quote from the book, reclaim your home from a dragon without killing it? The homie is not going to barter with you. He has the city. He has the gold. He has everything. And a bunch of little dudes are going to show up with nothing and be like, we kind of want our room back after we went to college, but it already got rented out to this fucking tweaker here. So like, but here's the thing. I got nothing to fight you with. So it's little guys versus giant meth head with built-in knives in his fingers and a blowtorch attached to his chin.
You know, solid point. Now, I agree with you there. I still think it was more towards they're not really trying to reclaim their home, but they're trying to reclaim their treasures. Because remember, that's the whole point.
It's the home, isn't it?
No, I think it was the treasures. But now you said a bunch of little dudes coming up to you without any weapons. Now that brings me to a point in the beginning of chapter 9 when
are you about to ask me how many dwarves I think I can take?
I don't think you can take that many, but I'm like, we're talking Middle Earth dwarves.
2. I think I could take 2.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think I could take maybe 1. But so in the beginning of chapter 9, when the dwarves get captured by the elves, straight up, Bilbo, at the time, I was like, oh, you ratty bitch. Because as soon as the elves showed up, Bilbo slipped that ring on and he was invisible. Now, that came in, like, that helped out a lot. But at the time, I was like, wow, you gonna ditch him like that?
Well, here's the thing. I kind of really like how Bilbo and the ring are almost becoming second nature to like the badassdom that Bilbo is starting to acquire. Because
Right.
when the dwarves got captured, he didn't even think about anything before he put on the ring and went invisible. So like, I think Bilbo's true D&D class is now becoming a rogue, because
Yeah.
he didn't think. He was like, oh, because before he was like, oh no, what am I gonna do? He went and then disappeared.
Yeah.
So like,
Now,
I'm kind of enjoying that.
right. So when when the dwarves got picked up and taken back to the king, they did the same shit Thorin did. Right? They were like, the king's asking him, "What are you doing here? What are you doing in my forest?" And then they were like, said nothing about it, right?
But like, I think Thorin did it on purpose. I think the dwarves were really just disheveled and were like, we're fucking hungry.
Now, like the Elven King is like mad as hell, and
He came
the
off
dwarves
very
like,
douchey.
yeah. But let me be devil's advocate here,
Okay.
okay? In all fairness, from the elves' point of view, they're just having dinner in the woods, right? They're having their feast. Imagine if 14 little motherfuckers ran up on you at your
Very
feast,
true.
and you're like,
like,
chase it.
you and me are sitting at a picnic bench in the middle of nowhere. We got our family, we're grilling up, we're cooking, and fucking the whole pack of Keebler elves just come out running, like trying to get your ribs. Yo, I would be hell no.
Dude, yeah, we're gonna either dip or I'm kicking them in the face.
It's like when Peter goes, kick, kick, kick. I back up in a corner, whip, whip, whip.
Now imagine that happening 3 times in a row.
Yes,
3
it
times.
happened 3 times.
I'm gonna get lethal.
I'm gonna get lethal.
Dude, so I can 100% understand why the Elven King is pissed. Okay.
Well, okay, so yeah, I get it. But then again, when they got captured and when they were being interrogated, he did come off a little bit douchey. However, we discussed this topic last episode. It is now confirmed that Mirkwood is his kingdom, and that they set it up all creepily like so that people would stay out.
Okay, so what we were talking about last week was right.
Yeah, because we were just like, I wonder if the Elven King or whatever, the people that they saw, they were kind of like putting on the facade of, you know, being that mystical forest, but in reality, you know, it's not. It's just a whole illusion type situation. I think it's confirmed that the Elven King was like, I'm protecting my people by putting all this dangerous looking shit out there. Why are you here?
Yeah,
I'm hungry.
He mentioned like, he's like, hey, he's like, why were you straying off the path that we built for you, right? Like, built for, like, so they built that path that they were saying don't stray off the path. Now my question is, like, if you're just some random dude who's like wandering the forest and you end up in Mirkwood and nobody told you to not stray off the path, don't you think it would be a smart idea to put up a sign, you know, like at the national parks? How it's like, you know, those signs are dumb, like, don't feed the alligators. Of course, don't feed that fucking alligator.
There's a reason why they put the sign up, because some idiot has done it.
Now, how many people do you think got lost in Mirkwood where they should be like, hey, maybe we should put up a sign?
Well, here's the thing, because if he made the path, I guarantee you that elfin asshole never took the path. Because they were like, yo, we can't see shit. You know, there's nothing to see. We can't read the fucking sign you pulled up that says don't feed the alligator. Homie, we didn't even know there were fucking alligators in here because we can't see our feet. Like,
well, in all fairness, if you're gonna be wandering into a dark forest, you might want to have a torch lit already. You know?
Oh yeah, why the hell didn't they give them a lantern or anything?
Yeah, like maybe just like a you know, kind of a maybe like a glowing orb kind of thing. You know, just like, hey,
what is that?
It's my orb. I got it up.
It's my orb.
She says no a lot.
What? Wait, is it like a magic 8-ball? Yeah, that's really funny.
But that motherfucker keeps going, no. I just want to play a game of Marvel Rivals, please.
It's like your mom as a kid, like, Mom, can I have a candy? No.
No, I I got pissed off a little bit again with Tolkien's writing style and
I
his
yes.
bro. Um, sorry, I'm glitching.
Okay, no. Well, I think we're about to say the same thing because
Yep.
time just passes so crazy in this book. Like, Tolkien casually stated that the dwarves have been held hostage for 2 weeks. And
Yeah,
I'm going to preface this to the readers. It wasn't 2 weeks worth of information that he gave us. Sentence one, Thorin was in a cage. Sentence two, it's been 2 weeks.
right. Like Bilbo's been skulking around the castle with his ring on for 2 weeks. He's been invisible for two. Could you imagine the complexion after that? So, because the sun's not hitting him.
No, not at all.
So I just wish that he would show more than tell, because I'd rather him show us, we're reading, but like,
Yeah.
show us Bilbo finding Thorin's cage rather than being like, oh yeah, like Bilbo finds like Thorin's cage later on.
Yeah, because he
Like,
basically was just like, oh, he came across a room. It was like he came across a door with some bars on it, and inside was the Dwarf King himself. I think that's what it said.
yeah, and it's just like that. That's me kind of writing. That's lazy,
It's a little what is it? I don't know the term for it, but it's just a little convenient where it's like, okay, he was looking. Oh, look, he found the guy. He just opened every fucking door in the tunnel system. But I so I mentioned earlier in our text messages that I had a conspiracy theory of
Yeah.
okay, should I mention it now or later at the end?
All right, conspiracy theory corner. Put your tinfoil hats on.
Oh, we're doing it now?
Yeah,
I don't know if that's tin, but salute, dude. Okay.
I think it's aluminum, but we'll work
So
with it.
I wrote this down. I even have it in my notes bolded for later. This was written down I believe Saturday morning ish. And quote unquote, if not mentioned or contradicted before the end of the book, I am writing this down now. Do you think Sauron was developed after The Hobbit was released? There was not really a mention of the ring being evil or created by a lord, or really any details of its past other than Gollum owning it. I wonder if Tolkien wrote this, then decided to continue its story afterward, which developed into Lord of the Rings.
See, I would think so, but he, in his type of writing style, he it seems like he had plans to develop more onto it
Well,
in
he
general.
had plans, but see, when writing the book, he has not mentioned really anything about the ring other than it just turns him invisible. Like you
Right, and
said,
it's cool to the touch.
what's up?
It's cool to the
It's
touch.
cool to the
Like it never
touch.
gets.
So then you had mentioned earlier that the reason why the Eye of Sauron can't see Bilbo is because Saruman has not yet built the tower.
Right.
But that's just retrofitting it to this situation. So do you think that he just not that he didn't develop it because he could have been thinking it, but he didn't officially canonize the fact that the ring has sort of this higher purpose, per
Kind of,
se.
kind of like how George Lucas's mind works when he's making the Star Wars movies. When he
Yeah,
made the original trilogy, he kind of made a throwaway line about the Clone Wars,
true.
and then later on he decided to do the prequels and delve way deep into the Clone Wars. So I could get with that, but like also leaving himself some room to play with too, because
Okay.
remember in the book or in this chapter he mentions that like Bilbo wished that Gandalf was like, or he was doing something and he's like, oh, Gandalf would be like so proud of him off doing his business, but that's not but like the business is not going to be told in this tale.
Hmm.
He's like I'll tell that in the future in like a future book. Leaving himself some wiggle room. He's
Yeah.
being very, very, very ambiguous about it. And he's like, okay, so Gandalf would be really proud while he's doing this stuff, but we can't talk about that right now yet
I hate
because
when he
he's
does
like
that.
he can't get into details, but he's like also leaving himself some play with just so that he can like mold the story in a satisfying way without retconning anything either.
It
You know what I mean?
in like a very assholey way to put it, which by no means is the way that I feel. It's like he had an idea, but he was at that time too lazy to write it out and was just like, I'm gonna leave this here just in case I want to come back to it later.
It's like when we're developing more lore for Tezen and Karis, like
Yeah,
our
exactly.
Star Wars OCs, like we're like every at least once a month I send you like we send each other a text being like, what if the story goes this way? But we never write anything down.
No, but I
It's
got to
all in
start
our head.
writing them again. So I will
and
say, okay, go for it.
I was gonna say like Bilbo had a bar in here like that I was like really fucked with.
Okay.
So I wrote it down just like I am like a burglar that can't get away but must go on miserably burgling the same house day after day. I wrote that, I was like, that's a bar.
That, you know what? That is pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
That's like being stuck like living with your parents in your mid-20s, you know. So anyway,
I don't know if you want me to clarify what you mean by that, or we'll just leave it out for the ether to decide. But so the last thing that I kind of want to bring up is it kind of happens towards the end of chapter 9. So before I do that, is there anything else that you kind of wanted to discuss about chapter 9 before I kind of close it off? Or unless you have something that happens after what I'm gonna say.
I just had some like little tidbits that I thought were funny, like how Bilbo got like sassier,
He
with his
has
confidence.
gotten sassier, and I
I
don't think
was
it's
I
the
was
ring. I just think it's his confidence.
I think it's dead as just his confidence because I was reading like some of his dialogue with the other dwarves and I was like, you sassy bitch. like he
You
was like
sassy bitch.
he dead ass like he told the plane to Thorin and the other dwarves and they're like, that's crazy, like we can't do that, and he goes, oh, so do you want me to just go lock you up and you can think of a
Yeah,
better plan?
yeah, I
Okay,
remember
no,
that.
all right, so shut the fuck up and let's go. Like
Actually,
I was like, okay.
I had a note before. That's because that happens in chapter 10. I had a note about that, but my last point for chapter 9 was that I the druid elves kind of just like high key pollute like
They do.
significantly
Like,
because every time they
uh,
finish, go for it.
I was gonna say it's like a productive kind of polluting, like
In an odd way,
reflecting.
I think it's more lazy because every time they finish a barrel of wine, they just like casually toss it into the river, knowing that it's gonna get refilled by the lake town, and they're like,
They
ah,
send it right
fuck it. It's a cycle. It's a lazy river cycle.
back. It is. Oh man, dude, the lazy river. Uh, did did I write that note down in this one or was it? Oh yeah, I did. The bit where Bilbo is holding on to his barrel while going down the river, because like Bilbo like packed the dwarfs in to
Yeah,
their own barrels with some hay and some stuff, just so that like they can just float down. Now Bilbo didn't have anybody to pack him in, so he just like jumped in
he was
after the
latching
barrels.
on to like the raft,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and then like he caught little cold. I thought it was kind of cute, but um, but like that whole bit just kind of reminded me how it feels when you're a kid in the lazy river at the local water park and the traffic is heavy. You're just kind of
Ooh,
holding up to your tube. Like that's kind of how I thought of it. And I thought that was pretty funny.
dude, I used to love
But
water parks as a kid, but like as I grew, I realized how much of a cesspool it is and how gross water parks actually
it's
are.
so gross. And I also get super paranoid because like, in roller coasters, when you're waiting in line, you go up some stairs maybe to get up to the platform, but
Yeah,
it's not super high. Water parks are going up 50 feet,
yeah.
like, or more of stairs, and you're looking over the edge on these rickety ass platforms, and you're like, I get like kind of vertigo and also very paranoid that somebody's gonna come up behind me and push me over
Oh
the,
my
the
god.
ledge. But yeah, no, like I don't like water parks as much.
I
Now my go.
I was gonna say, like, I low key refuse to go to a public pool. And this sounds like so bougie, like he's too good for a public. Dude, they are disgusting.
They are.
My grandmother, when she lived in Queens, in New York, she across from her apartment. I totally hit my mic if the fucking audio picked that up. Across from her apartment was the only like outdoor public pool in Woodside where she lived. And dude, I would spend, a couple weeks there in the summer. And Mercedes just brought me, I asked her to bring me chocolate, and she brings like a whole fucking platoon of soldiers. But
Hey,
dude,
Mercedes, give me some chocolate too.
oh yay, thank you, water. I'm so thirsty. I've been talking out of my ass.
Water.
Cool, clear water.
When they
I don't know the
dry and
words.
souls that cry for water.
Anyway, the point I was making, thank you. I know I like mango, thank you. And mazapan, thank you. But dude, the pool was disgusting. That's the whole point of the story.
Oh, I hate when I find a floating band-aid.
Oh, what's
Like,
the theory?
What you said a little while ago about the ring and son.
Oh, that he just kind of bullshitted?
I know the answer.
You know? How do you know the
I've
answer?
read the books before.
Oh, fuck out of
So
here.
I know the
What?
answer. but I
What is
love
she
the
talking about?
theory.
She says, can you hear her at all?
a little bit. I heard
She
like
goes, she says, I love your theory about Tolkien and the fucking ring and it not being connected to Sauron yet. And I go, oh, do you think it? And she goes, I know the answer. I read the fucking books. And I'm like, what the hell?
What'd you read
I've
the
also
books?
seen all every movie.
Okay, but it doesn't mention it in the movies. It's Peter Jackson's shit. I haven't seen.
Like,
Wait, you seen the Hobbit movies? Blasphemer.
I was
Blasphemer?
slightly cultured before I met you.
Okay, hold on a second here.
Wow.
Wow. Wow. This is caca bullshit of all bullshit.
I was slightly cultured before I met you, okay?
Hey, what the fuck is this shit?
I want to imagine that like as you're sleeping, she's like sneaking the book because we know that Mercedes can read fast as hell. She's like sneaking the book and reads it in like a couple days and then gives it back, and you're like, I know all the answers.
He's like, okay, we gotta get back on track. He goes,
Okay.
You just know Mercedes is sneaking the Hobbit books in at night while you're sleeping, so that she finishes it in a night and goes, I know the other answers. Okay, so anyway, yeah, they just be like high key. God damn it! They just the elves just be high key polluting the river, and that was just like my last point of the fucking chapter. Thank God I have water.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I'm so thirsty.
I really like when I was reading the Wood Elves dialogue. I was just like, you guys are like douchebags. I
They
really
are.
don't like them. Like, I don't like the way they talk.
Elves are
racist?
racist as fuck, and they're like highfalutin assholes.
So my last tidbits of the chapter is I like how we got some insight on how dwarf trafficking works. You know, we got
Dwarf trafficking. Interesting
yeah,
choice of words.
Yeah, we trafficked some dwarves this chapter.
Okay, we didn't traffic shit.
Oh, that reminds me of another thing.
Oh no.
When they were
Nick starts trafficking dwarves in real life.
No, wait, no, that was the next chapter. Okay, never mind. Okay. So yeah, we got some insight on how dwarf trafficking works. You know, acquire some barrels in a nice stream.
True. True.
I love that Bilbo is kind of taking on a little bit of Gandalf's role as
like the
savior.
head of guy, yeah.
Yeah, and he's got kind of like Gandalf's attitude now with the sassiness.
Well, I don't know. Gandalf was sassy. He was also an asshole. Like,
yeah,
I'll
say Gandalf was that bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. He was like he was HBIC.
He had the qualifications to be a bitch. You know what I mean? Like I'll give him that. You know, like how they say that like Jay-Z has shut the fuck up money and Beyonce has no you shut the fuck up money. You know?
We're not gonna get into that. The
Yeah,
Grammys
okay,
just
yeah,
happened.
that's a hard thing. Yeah, this episode's like a little bit
It's a little
it
bit
is a little
unhinged.
bit chaotic, but we have to make it entertaining because these 2 chapters are not that not that eventful.
I think this episode's going great. But do you have any?
I think it's going great.
Do you have any last words before I kill you? Take your place, and I read chapter 10 summary.
Okay. I don't. Maybe I'm naive, but
Possibly.
I think it's kind of in different types of media. My least favorite trope is miscommunication. You know, just like not talking about like anything.
Okay.
So I don't really understand why they have to keep it so on the down low that they're heading back to their mountain to Dale. From the wood elves, like they don't want to tell them anything.
Maybe treasure.
Like
because the king was like, "Oh, the fucking treasure."
right, and this is like, you know, I feel like if you just told the king like, hey, we're just headed to like maybe if they were just like, hey, we're just headed to the lake town, we got lost in Mirkwood, I feel like the king would be like, all right, you know, but like they just decided to be a pain in the ass and just like not talk. Like they didn't do anything wrong, so why are they hiding? You know what I mean?
True.
But that's why I say like maybe I'm just naive about this because like I don't really get the full picture.
They could be.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my last thing for chapter 9.
Okay. All right. Well, thus begins our entry into chapter 10. I will say I have the timestamp written down. Discussing chapter 9 took us about 35 minutes.
Yeah, it was a short chapter. I think chapter 10 is straight up 10 pages.
Legit.
Maybe
It,
or
no,
not even 10.
It's
7
9
pages.
Is it?
It's 9?
I thought it was 35.
I think it was 7,
yeah.
I think it was 7 pages, but one like half of those pages was straight up illustration.
That is true.
Taken up by the...
All right.
So it was a short chapter.
Let me get into chapter 10 with the summary. I feel like I should put on a little voice.
In a world.
Oh yeah, in a world. As they float down the river, Bilbo sees the lonely mountain far off. From the raftmen's talk, he understands that the landscape has changed a lot since Gandalf last saw it, and that the dwarves have gotten out of Mirkwood the only way they could. Unknown to Bilbo, Gandalf has heard of Bilbo. Gandalf has heard of his trouble and on his way to help. Wait, he is?
Wait, what?
Gandalf is on the way back?
I just saw he heard about it and was like, oh, sick.
I don't remember that at all.
This AI shit, man. I'm telling you, it's ruining us.
Anywho, this is an AI. I took this shit from SparkNotes. The barrows float down to Lake Town, a town of men that is also called Esgaroth. Esgaroth. Yeah, escargot. Located on
Yes.
Long Lake. Bilbo helps the dwarves out of the barrels. Thorin, with Fili, Kili, and Bilbo, confronts the town guards and announces that he, the king under the mountain, has returned and wishes to be taken to their master. They discover the master feasting with elves, who recognize their former prisoners. The master of Lake Town does not want to oppose the elves, but the townspeople insist that Thorin be welcomed. After a couple weeks again, the dwarves now know they must go on to the mountain, and they leave, well provisioned. Bilbo is very unhappy about leaving Lake Town and heading to the Lonely Mountain.
Yes.
Dun 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 dun. Bum, bum, dun, dun.
I was trying to do the boom boom, but I
God.
spit.
He just choked on his own spit.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Oh, damn.
You good, buddy?
I'm good. I'm cool.
Okay. So I'm just gonna be like,
Dude,
yo, with the picture of Lake Town, that shit looked dope, man. Like it's the first,
I would definitely spend some time there, dude.
right?
It looks so nice.
It's the first time that I think men, as in the race of men, has been mentioned in Middle Earth. Not mentioned, but like
Or
they
but
appear.
shown.
Yeah.
You know, like I would say like the last time maybe they were seen was at the Green Dragon Inn in the first or second chapter when Bilbo went to go meet up with the dwarves at the beginning of the journey. But I think that's like maybe the last time we saw men.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because every other race has been goblins, stone giants, trolls, hobgoblin, a dwarves, hobbits, obviously. Gandalf, I don't count as a man. That's a wizard. Like I feel like he's a different kind of being.
I actually don't. I think Gandalf is a man. Or no.
You think so?
Well, no. I'm just gonna say Gandalf is a human. I don't know. It might be the same fucking thing, and I'm just gonna sound like an idiot.
Human form, but I don't think he's actually human. You know what I mean?
No, wait a minute. Didn't we look this up? And Gandalf, like the race of wizards, isn't. They're like spirits, right? Almost.
It seems like it. Like they hit. Like I don't know, man. But I definitely don't classify Gandalf and wizards as man.
I don't. I wouldn't go down that route either.
Yeah. I think they're like a human form, but I don't think they're like men themselves. Now, yeah, I thought that was cool. Like, I don't know why they weren't talking about them more, but I guess if you think about it from Bilbo's point of view, is like humans this, humans that. The mountain is looking at me. And he does not look very happy. You know what I mean? Like sorry, I had to slip that in. The Lonely Mountains are right there. It's within Bilbo sees it.
You know what I kind of picture? I hate to interrupt you. I pictured two things, and I'm gonna say one for people who have been to Disney World and know this feeling, but then like the overarching feeling of this is, let's say you're in Nepal and you're at fucking base camp of Everest or like the town near it, and you just constantly see Everest like looming over you. And
I got a lighthearted story. Like
you got a what?
I got more lighthearted like visual.
Okay.
It's when I'm driving to for my Ohio people out there. For when I'm driving to Cedar Point and I'm crossing the bridge to get to Cedar Point and I can see the dragster in the distance and I'm like, that's all, motherfucker. I'm not gonna ride you. You're always broken down.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
Yeah. What is not? And they turned up.
But the correlation with Disney is that in the animal kingdom in Disney World, so the animal kingdom is sectioned into a few parts. There's Asia, there's Africa, and there's like Dino Land, which they're getting rid of. I'm very mad about that. Dino Land's fucking awesome, okay? Anywho.
Sounds awesome.
In Asia, the one thrill ride they have is Expedition Everest, and you're in the like Asia's set up like it's Nepal and stuff like that. When you get to the Everest area, the mountain is just looming, dude. It's so, my god, dude.
Like,
exactly, because like in the ride, you go to the top of it.
Right.
Ugh.
It's kind of like I would kind of like describe it as like maybe a very skinny dude sees like a bodybuilder from the distance and the bodybuilder kind of looks mean, and you're like, I don't want to fuck with the guy, but then he sees you and he's like, I'm coming for you, little man. And it turns out to be a nice guy at the end, but that doesn't correlate with them.
No, I don't think so. I did want to bring it back to something that you had mentioned when discussing chapter 9 that I think actually happened in chapter 10, is that Bilbo just, turned into a diva bitch when he freed Thorin from the barrel. And I have the quote written down because I just thought it was hilarious. So to set the picture, they have just rested at the bank of the river before going into Lake Town, and Bilbo is knocking on barrels to see if A, he gets a knock back, or B, if they sound dense. So like he knocks, he hears a knockback, he pries open the top, and out flops this drenched dwarf with hay sticking out of his beard. And he goes, the only way that I could tell this was Thorin was because he's wearing gold chains. What a G. Just putting it out there.
Right.
But Thorin immediately just starts bitching. He's like, you packed me in there like an animal. You know, I barely had any air. I have a headache. And he's like, I couldn't move. And this is going to bring me back to the other one who was fucking around with the apples. But when he, you know what I'm talking about. And, Bilbo hears all this bitching and immediately, quote for quote, says, are you still in prison or are you free? If you want to go off on this silly adventure, it's yours after all and not mine. So you had better slap your arms and rub your legs and try to help me get the others out while there's still a chance. He's like, shut the fuck up, get your shit together, and help me out, you lazy bitch.
Like, I was just sitting there like, yo, Bilbo, I think you need to calm down a little bit, but you're getting a little too comfortable and confident.
Like when your parents are
like,
arguing in the front seat of the car on a road trip, and you're like, please stop.
Like, imagine it like this. You're a tall dude. You're like 6'2", right?
Mm-hmm.
Put your ass in coach on a plane.
That's
for 12 hours.
Bitch, what? Do you think I'm flying business class everywhere? Of course I'm flying in coach. That shit sucks.
Yeah, but for 12 hours, right? And you get up out of the plane, and you're like, oh,
dude, we're going to go off on another tangent. I got to be really careful about what I say because I have a lot of British friends, like listeners. How am I going to word this? The Queen's death really fucked up my vacation. And I'm gonna get into this one. So a while ago when the Queen, this was like 3 or 4 years ago. My family and I had planned to take a trip, a cruise that started in Athens, Greece. Something had happened and the flights were booked through the cruise company rather than flying, buying the tickets by yourself.
I remember you telling me about it. You were pissed,
I was
dude.
Incensed. For all of you travelers out there who need some advice, never purchase your fucking airline tickets to the cruise company. Okay, so
it'll fuck up your day.
It'll fuck up your day big time. So the day comes now. My girlfriend and my flight is later in the day. My father and my sister and my aunt and her husband are all flying earlier that same day, but like 12 hours beforehand. So this is my first time flying alone internationally. I have flown alone before, but never internationally. So I'm already a little bit on edge. Now, my flight, or our flight, I should say, was at around 5 o'clock in the evening. Okay. I had planned to work until about 3 or 2 o'clock and then leave to go to the airport. And what I did not realize was that the Queen had died, basically. And when the Queen had died, that shut everything down. Because our initial flight was from my airport to Heathrow Airport, which is London. Then from London to Athens, Greece. London Heathrow shut down. It shut down for 3 days.
Jeez.
So I find out that the flight has been canceled. And I'm like, I am supposed to leave in basically an hour to go to this fucking flight. So I'm freaking out. And I forgot to mention this. It was my girlfriend's first time flying, period.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You never mentioned that part to me.
Oh yeah, so that's added on top of this. So we're freaking out. I call the airline. I call the airline. I'm like, listen, our flight has been canceled. I have a cruise that I have to make the embarkation day. Otherwise, we do not go on it. And they're like, we're trying, all that. So the whole plan was to be in Athens for 2 days beforehand, and then we would go on the cruise. So now I'm freaking out. I'm texting my father, who's I believe he's in Rome at this point, or he's in the sky. I don't know. And I go, hey, bitch, our flights just got fucking canceled. I don't know what to do. And he's like, what? And I go, the Queen's dead. For some reason, the Queen died, and that affects my travel plans. So I don't know if I can clip all of this because this is like a 5-minute long story. So anyway, we can't get anything. So I'm on the phone with the airline company for a good maybe hour and a half. And they were like, we can't get you anything through Heathrow. Legitimately, the only flight we can get you is midnight. So this is day of midnight tonight, going to Charles de Gaulle Airport in France, then to Athens. And I go, how much is it? And she says, $3,000 a ticket.
Jesus Christ.
And I go, okay, are you fucking me up the ass on the flight? Why is it $3,000 a ticket? And she goes, it's economy plus. And I said, what the hell is economy plus? She didn't give me an answer. Nick, she was just like, if you cancel, you don't get charged. And I go, you fuckers canceled on me. Like, what do you mean I'm not going to get charged? I can't be spending $6,000 on 2 fucking tickets because you guys canceled. So basically, I'm panicking because at this point, one, I don't have that much of a credit limit on my card yet. And two, I'm like, because the other thing is like my dad had paid for the flights because he gets like points and shit like that. So we're panicking. I'm texting my father and I'm like, listen, they canceled the flights. The only flight where we can make it in time for the cruise is going to be another $6,000. And he's like, book it. He's like, you have to book it because like, otherwise you lose on the trip and that amount of money. And he's like, just use my card basically. So okay. So I talked to the woman. I go, listen, this is the information for the guy. This is his card, blah, blah, blah. I need you to pay for it with this. She goes, I need his ID. And I go, what the fuck do you mean? So basically, jumping through hoops, we can't use his card. So I'm like, what the fuck? Mercedes, my girlfriend, gracious enough, was like, put it on my card. We'll figure it out. And so we used her card. We got the flights for that night. And my father, man, reamed the airline company.
Listen, I've met your dad maybe 3 times, and he's always been the most quiet, or not quiet, but like he's been like the most reserved and nice and like very like generous host to me.
Yeah.
Chris has told me about times where his dad like unloaded on people, and I can never imagine it because he's such a a sweet like seeming little guy. You know what I mean?
Oh man. You know what? Perfect not analogy, but perfect likeness. My dad, whenever you fuck with him, turns into like cursed Bilbo.
I was just thinking about that.
Like anytime you fuck with money, with his money or time or shit like that, he goes rah like that. And
he's like, Kester, no!
Legit, dude. I've heard him curse twice, and I've heard him say fuck twice in my life. And you know what it both was? Traffic. I was sleeping in the car. We used to carpool every day into work, and I was sleeping in the car, and to the side, I heard him go, hee, hee, and then I just hear him roll down the window and go, what the fuck? Like that. Anyway, super big tangent. I don't even remember how we got to flying, but
oh, because I mentioned imagined you in, like,
yeah
12 hours. That's how the dwarves felt. And then like maybe some like smaller dude 5'5" was like, was like, "Why are you so crabby? Why are you so crabby?" Like, bitch, I've been stuffed in there.
And I'm a big guy too, so like I'm already uncomfortable.
Oh man, like I know that I had the same kind of issue with the credit card thing when I went to South Dakota with my mom for my birthday last year.
Hmm.
And we went to go rent a car. And my mom realized that she forgot her credit card at home, and I was like, "Oh shoot!" And I knew I had my dad's credit card on me, but he hadn't made a he hadn't made a payment yet, so he didn't have the money on the card.
Uh,
So we called him, and he made the payment real quick. And luckily, me and my dad have the same name, so it just passed off as my card.
smart.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, that's one that's one win for being a junior.
So we mentioned this previously with the dwarves being plucked out of the barrels. So one dwarf specifically had some issue where he was packed in with loads of apples, but was bitching. First off, the dwarves have not ate anything. All right.
This entire like trip down the river.
Yeah, this entire trip down the river, they have not ate anything. They're still starving. And he is bitching about being in a barrel full of apples and not wanting to eat the apples. He's like,
right.
I could live the rest of my life and eat bread and flan and fucking cheese and shit like that, but I will never eat another goddamn apple. And I go, dude, you were just around the apples. Like, what do you mean?
Listen, I've been eating more apples lately this week.
I always
and
get
I
a
will
kick
say,
of apples every now and then.
yeah, and I'm like, apples are good. You know, like sometimes I eat it with a knife, but lately, you know, I've been actually eating it like a normal person.
I don't like eating it like a normal person. I use the knife and
Yeah, but like if you think about it, you know, apples are really good for your teeth because they kind of act like a floss. Like if you notice after you eat an apple, your gums are kind of pushed up a little bit more. They kind of feel a little clean, you know.
That's exactly why I don't eat the apple.
So all right,
That's
enough of
literally the reason.
Oh, can we talk about this like bomb? I thought it was a bombshell, but Killy and Philly are Thorin's nephews.
Okay, so
Yeah, I know, right?
I wouldn't necessarily call it a bombshell for me. I think more of a bombshell was when you realized Gloin was Gimli's dad.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that. I was like, I don't know why. I thought Thorin was Gimli's dad. I don't know why. But
also Killy and Philly are 45? No, 100, aren't they?
no, I think they're like 50 something.
They're basically dwarf teens, aren't they?
I would say they're dwarven early 20s.
Okay, yeah. I would say they're 50s. But that's another thing that always like gets me is how different races age, because elves are technically immortal to aging, but they can still be killed.
Okay, so it says here that Philly is 82 and Killy is 77.
So they're pushing 100, okay. But
yeah,
in our realm, what are they, like 20?
I would say so. Like, wait, all right, let's wait, all right.
Because isn't 150 considered middle-aged? Or like matured or something?
I got a chart. Let's see.
Oh god, he's got a chart.
Dwarf 50 to 100 is equivalent to 18 to 50. Oh wait, no. 30 to 65. So they're like in their 30s.
Interesting. You gave me a
40.
really huge range.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's another.
So, I don't know if there's anything else regarding them being freed, but I love how Thorin. So we're gonna fast forward a little bit because we did mention that, you know, Thorin and Killy, Philly, and Bilbo go up to the gates of hell, basically up to the gates of Lake Town, and kind of were just like, "This is me. I want to talk to your master." So then they like bust open the doors to the Great Hall, and I shit you not, the way that Thorin Axe was like, I'm back, bitches. And
right, and I'm like,
to
they don't know you.
well, no. That's the thing. To boost his ego, they do know him. They don't know Thorin, but they know the Mountain
his
King.
lineage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm not, what is it, Thoin? He's like, I'm not Thoin, but I'm his grandson. And they're like, oh my God, it's him.
Yeah. So he's like, he busts in. He goes, "I'm Thorin, son of son of Thrain, son of Thrain," and they're
Okay.
like, "Yeah!"
Yeah,
like
legit.
the dwarves are back in town.
The dwarves are back. But
So they really buzzed it in. We're like, dwarves are back in town. There's some wood elves still there from like the river elves.
yeah, truly,
that
because they were
helping the
eating with the
barrels and stuff.
king or the master or
Yeah,
whatever.
and yo, they hit them with some crazy allegations.
They did.
They're like, these guys crashed our party and molested our kid. And I was like, whoa. I don't know what's happening.
And then Bill, I swear, Bilbo, like, I think he at one point hesitated to put the ring on because he's like, I don't know if I should do this. Once again, I don't know. Okay, so do you have anything else to mention about Lake Town? Because I'm gonna say this. Tolkien needs to chill out with the time jumps because they bring so basically after this they bring the whole crew into Lake Town. By the way, we're not just calling it Lake Town because it's a town on a lake. It is legitimately called Lake Town. Which is fucking dope. But they bring the whole crew back into Lake Town and they basically party for like a week. A week. No, he says a week.
A week?
They spent a week. They said they were in Lake Town for a week. And then Bilbo was like, okay, Bilbo and Thorin were like, all right, we need to dip out before the welcome party basically ends and they get tired of us. So we kind of got to take advantage of them, like, you know, brown nosing us a little bit so that we can get more shit. Like yeah.
I think it was funny though, because the town master, like, who's essentially the mayor of Lake Town.
Yeah.
He was, once the dwarves were like ready to go, he was very quick to like set them up, get them out of here.
Yeah,
because he was like, he acted like a week long like holiday. Nobody's working. He's like, I need.
He needs the economy back to go back online, basically, because everybody is just so crazy enamored with these dwarves that they were just partying all the time.
Right, dude. That like, what's a good comparison? I guess that'd be like if Beyonce went back to Texas and all of Texas just stopped working for a week while she was there.
I was thinking like when the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl and they rioted, but it stayed that way for a week.
Yeah.
Like, my God.
What? Sorry, I don't know. I was gonna make a pun.
Make the pun. Pun me up, bro.
I had no. So,
did you not have anything
Philadelphia.
Okay. I don't even know how. You mean? Philly and Kill. Oh, Jesus.
So Philadelphia, nephews of Thorin.
You see this? Not even being written down.
Oh, come
on. I think I don't know if you have anything else to say, but the last thing I have to say is, damn, this chapter was short. It was a cool chapter. It wasn't like amazing because I think chapter 7 we both agreed was like the best chapter so far.
Oh yeah. Wait, was it? I think it was chapter 8. I would say chapter 8 was the one where they fought the spiders.
Chapter 7, our week of chapters 7 and 8 was the best.
Yeah, that was the best one.
Yeah. Once again, very, very short chapter. And I guess it's
very short. About 6 to 7 pages.
Yeah, no, Mercedes actually texted me. Chapter 10 was 12 pages, including the illustration.
Oh, I'm counting the actual pages, not back and front. So yeah, that sounds about right.
So, um, we had alluded to this earlier. The reason why Bilbo was not happy when leaving Lake Town was just because the Lonely Mountain was right there.
It was very intimidating to him.
Extremely, because he's like a tiny little boy, and looking up, there's the end of your trip right there. You just spent I don't know how long going through all this bullshit, and one, it's kind of like a surreal moment, and Mercedes just distracted the fuck out of me. She's yelling at you for some reason. So okay, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Pages and books around counted front and back.
I know that, but like I was just counting the pages in general. Damn, Mercedes.
Anywho, so
God.
but like you're going through this entire journey, and all of a sudden you now see your goal, which you had never seen before, and it's in your line of sight. So like,
yeah,
shit's real.
You're just now, like, he's just now getting, like, finding his bearings and getting his confidence. Now he has a cold, and he's realizing, because he's also kind of like, he's kind of their MVP right now, and they're kind of relying on him as the burglar.
I don't think he still has a cold. They were in town for a week.
No, he still had the cold, because when I remember when they were leaving, because I thought it was a cute quote. He said, "Thank you very much."
Oh yeah, he did say that.
So they said he has like a nose cold, so it's nothing serious, but like he has a cold. He's kind of like their ace,
Yeah,
right?
I would say that.
And he's realizing that his time is coming up, so the nerves are really getting to him right now.
Okay.
I would say.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's just kind of odd to see that it's having this much of an impact on him and not so much on the dwarves.
Right. Now, I'm still wondering, where the fuck does the Battle of the Five Armies come into play here? Because they're about to hit the mountain. Is it on the way back when they're like all the other kingdoms maybe are like, I want that gold, give me that money.
I don't know, because can you really spend the next 9 chapters in the mountain itself?
9 chapters? Yeah, that's true. Maybe it's just like 2 chapters, I would say, in the mountain. Maybe 3.
But
still, it's like a lot of ground to cover there.
And here's the thing, we don't really know. I mean, we're just going to throw this out there. I don't really know if the dragon is killed or not.
Yeah, me neither. Because I think I remember from the movie itself.
Have you seen the Hobbit movies?
No, just the behind the scenes stuff with Benedict Cumberbatch. About like his motion capture is Smog, and he's like talking to somebody. So I think he's talking to Bilbo. But like they don't really ever go over like if they defeat him or not.
Exactly.
Or if he just leaves.
So then we don't really have a basis of how we know Bilbo survives. That's pretty much it. Well, yeah, we only know that Bilbo and Gandalf survive, so like anything's up for grabs here. So yeah, I don't think you and I can really anticipate much more of what's to come other than just reading it, because like you said, we still have the Battle of the Five Armies, which, not gonna lie, I kind of forgot was supposed to be in this book.
Yeah. I'm gonna say my theory. I'm gonna say for notable deaths that are gonna happen in the future, I think Thorin's gonna die.
Yeah, I think so too. He's too much of a secondary leader.
And you never heard about him in the Lord of the Rings movies from Gimli at all.
Do we hear about Gloin from Gimli?
No, I don't think we hear much.
Oh, he says son of Gloin though.
Yeah. So like what if Bilbo's like the well, other than Gandalf, is the like last survivor of this party?
I don't know, because that just got me thinking, because when you see in Fellowship, Gimli is there with like 3 or 4 other dwarves. I wonder who those are.
True. And then also,
I'm not gonna look it up just in case, because it could be like Killian Philly.
true. Because yeah, I was just thinking maybe that's Killian Philly there, but maybe that's why also because we see in like Lord of the Rings, the trilogy there, that Bilbo actually wrote like about that journey, you know,
Yeah, because
and
it's what is it? There and Back Again is his book.
yeah. So what if that book is because like of like maybe he's the last survivor, so he wants to tell their story.
Oh, and he promises like I'll tell the tale type situation. Shit, we're
Yeah.
getting dark. I don't want these characters to
Ooh.
die.
Now, a little fun little like random question I had. This was from the last chapter, chapter 9,
Okay.
that I forgot to mention was let's see. Do you think dwarves can swim or are they too dense?
So I know that Bomber can't swim. Like
That motherfucker.
that's canon is that Bomber cannot swim, and that's why he immediately was terrified about going in the water.
Which is weird because he looks like he's buoyant.
Maybe they can Here's the thing. Do they need to swim?
Um,
Can Gimli swim?
I don't think we ever went over that or never seen that.
Have we ever gone swimming? No. If you jump in the water and return to Moria, you die.
What? Oh. Huh.
So is it like canon that
I'll look it up.
look it up? Why
Nah.
not? Is it canon that dwarves can't swim?
And
But like why would that be a physical like disability for a race though? Cuz they're humanoid. Like what makes them different enough that they can't swim? He's looking it up, by the way, dead air.
So in Dwarf Fortress, dwarves can swim quickly in water, but not fast enough to avoid drowning. So I think they are too dense that they will sink in the water.
What is Dwarf Fortress? What is that?
I don't know. Because this is the AI overview, so there's no information of whether dwarves can swim in Lord of the Rings, but here's some related information about swimming dwarves in Dwarf Fortress. Okay, so maybe that's like another IP. What's Dwarf Fortress? People.
If anybody's listening, if you have any headcanon on whether or not dwarves can swim and why they can or can't, let us know.
Yeah, I'm like really interested in that. And there's this picture of the dwarves from the Hobbit in a raft,
Okay.
like whitewater rafting.
Let me see this. It's really funny.
There's the one going like
He's just flipping off everybody. Oh my god.
my god, I love that.
Okay. I honestly I don't really have anything else that I want to mention right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's not, again, there's not a lot to cover in these two chapters. So we had to stray off the path a couple times to make it more entertaining.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, unless you have anything else, we can wrap it up. So for next week, we will be covering chapters 11 and 12 of The Hobbit. Once again, we're counting down here, ladies and gents. Damn. And do we want to make the next book announcement now, or do you want to wait?
No, I think we can make it now since we're nearing the end.
Okay, so in about I want to say give it like 4-ish weeks until I think The Hobbit is done. I want to make sure that my math is correct, but fuck it, who knows. So the next book that we're gonna talk about, and if I actually want to write this down really quickly, so we are gonna stray to a different type of genre. From fantasy to horror, actually. So a little bit of background. Yeah, it's weird. Nick, to put it kindly, is a bitch.
Yep.
He does not like horror. He will refuse to watch any horror movie with me unless I bribe him or kidnap him. So
which happens a lot.
It does. Let's be real. You know, I know how to tantalize him. It's fairly easy.
Bag.
Just full of popcorn.
Just-
It's like popcorn scented. I spray the salt in there, and you're like, "Ooh."
It's like chloroform.
You're just in a trance. So,
Yeah.
Without further ado, the next book that we are planning to read is called All the Lovely Bad Ones by Mary Downing Hahn, I believe. And it is a young adult book, kind of like mid-teens. You know, I think that's like the age rating about, fuck it. You know what? Let me just pull up the synopsis really quickly for you guys. Nick, shoot the shit for a second.
So I think we were talking about this the other day, and because we were talking about the next book and how we're excited to get into all the Lovely Bad Ones.
Yeah, it's called All the Lovely Bad Ones.
And how I'm like excited to get to like a more spooky book, and you said sorry because you know I don't like horror that much.
Yeah,
but I'm like, it's a book, so that like it's usually just the jump scares that get me, right?
Okay.
So in a book, there's no jump scares unless it's a pop-up book, and I thought that would be a really funny market to get into.
That would be really funny.
Horror books.
So for a brief background on the book, so All the Lovely Bad Ones is a 2008 fiction book written by Mary Downing Hahn. Hell yes, she brought me my copy of the book. I already have the copy. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit up Barnes and Noble with mine.
So the back cover of the book. Oh, look, I bought this one used for $3.50. Little bit of Chris history for you guys.
Let me see the cover. Ooh,
it's
very
good.
Very ghost, very Goosebumps.
Yeah, right. Okay, so the back cover of the book is Travis. Oh, okay, the fucking ghost story, and my door just opens up. Travis and his sister Corey can't resist a good trick. When they learn that their grandmother's quiet Vermont inn, where they're spending the summer, has a history of ghost sightings, they decide to do a little haunting of their own. But their supernatural pranks awaken something dangerous. Are you guys, what the fuck is going on?
I just watched Mercedes just blind herself.
What is happening?
No, it's because Mercedes was fucking around with her light, and then she turned it on while pointed at her face. She's just like,
you two are fucking complete fools. I'm gonna have to restart, man. Are you guys good?
Yeah,
okay.
Cool.
Let me restart this. You, Nick, shut up. You don't blind yourself. Blinded by the light. Okay. Let me restart this. Travis and his sister Corey can't resist a good trick. When they learn that their grandmother's quiet Vermont inn, where they're spending the summer, has a history of ghost sightings, they decide to do a little haunting of their own. But their supernatural pranks awaken something dangerous, something that should not have been awoken. Only Travis and Corey can lay to rest the spiteful spirits that they've stirred. This means discovering the secret of Fox Hill and the horrors that visited on its inhabitants years before. It's super quick book. It's about,
what is it, 200 something pages?
About 182 pages, yeah. So a little under 200 pages. From what I remember, the book does a very good job at descriptions. So I remember always picturing it very well in my head. You know, it's a really good kind of like, all right, it gives me details that I feel like I'm in there, specifically with some of the ghosts. So that's why, like, when you read it, you might not get scared per se, but you'll definitely feel like maybe a shiver or two. Then again, I haven't read this book. This is probably the last full book I've read.
Yeah, this is gonna be my first horror book to read, but I've listened to one book by what's his name? Stephen King's son. He wrote a book.
I know called, he doesn't write under his real name.
Yeah,
Stephen King's son.
Yeah, it's called like Nose for Atu, right? It's like spelled out like a license plate, and it's supposed to be like a book about like a serial killer and stuff. And
Joe.
and I will say,
Joe Hill.
Joe Hill, yeah. So I was listening to an audiobook for it and I
Elvenking.
had to stop because the descriptions were like a little just um what was it? What
Too
I don't know
detailed.
how to say this. Not too detailed, it's just like too cringe because I remember listening to this one part and I was just like, what the fuck? I don't know if I could say it on stream.
Is it graphic?
Like it's just bi- big. No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna. I'll tell you after.
Okay.
But I feel like I wanna have this experience. And Mercedes will understand this because I watched Friends a lot growing up, and one of the story like one of the episodes was like um Joey would read a book and like Rachel was gonna read a book too, and she was talking about Little Women, or no, he was reading Little Women, and no, Joey was reading The
God
Shining.
damn it! It's like you're in the
Rachel,
fucking show.
yeah, so
He's
Joey
talking
was
about
reading The
Friends.
Shining.
Oh God.
Joey was reading The Shining, and Rachel was reading Little Women, and they switched books. They were like, "Oh, okay, I'll read this." And Rachel was like, when she first saw that he was reading The Shining, she was like, "Why is the book in the freezer? Because he put it in the freezer." And he's like, because the book scared me so much, I put it in the freezer to like keep the demons in there. So I kind
Alrighty.
of want to have that experience while reading this or any kind of like horror book.
Well, I think that brings us to the end of this episode. Do you have any last words to say before we shut it down?
Dude, we're almost at the Lonely Mountain.
We're almost to the Lonely Mountain. We've traveled with them this entire time.
To Erebor.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's the same.
Anywho. All right, everybody. Thank you once again for listening to this episode. Yeah, we will see you next time. Chapters 11 and 12 next week. Bye-bye.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.